CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the cleanup efforts in our region after last night's summer storm. As Sean Irvin reports, Perth County was hardest hit with widespread damage in Mitchell and parts of Stratford.
From the sound of chainsaws to the sound of tractors pulling apart down trees, this is the scene just south of Mitchell, hours after a storm hit Thursday evening. A large tree in front of Warren Harper's home was completely uprooted from the ground. He was inside when Mother Nature blew in.
Just a lot of cold air coming down and just pow, it hit here.
Around the property, additional signs of the force of the wind. A shed door blown in, and more concerning, 2 silo tops knocked out by falling trees. Harper tells CTV News it's the worst damage he's seen in the area in 30 years. The winds were strong enough to snap and topple hydro lines along a section of Highway 23. The road was closed as crews worked to replace the poles and restore power. Some of those who live nearby were on the road as the storm hit.
We pulled into a driveway because you couldn't see, like for rain and hail. Hail was the scary part.
Parked vehicles also took a beating. Take a look at Ted Keller's SUV. It had just been pulled out from under a toppled tree. Keller has only had the car for a month.
Just one branch came down and then blew over on top of the car, but I didn't quite get it in the garage in time before the hail and everything came.
Inside the town of Mitchell, branches and in some cases downed trees line every single street. In some cases, power was restored to homes here before the noon hour. Dashcam and drone footage shows widespread tree damage throughout the town. Thankfully, there are no reports of injuries. But there are broken hearts, especially at this address. This nearly 200-year-old tree had been cabled by an arborist to keep it healthy. Then the storm split it in half. Now new braces prevent it from crashing into a neighboring home. But the old tree's fate is sealed.
It's a big old silver maple, and we've been nursing it along, trying to keep it going. And it just finally met its match.
In Mitchell, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
The clock is now ticking for Crown attorneys to file an appeal after yesterday's not guilty verdicts in the World Junior Sexual Assault trial. London police had charged the 5 players based on allegations made by a woman accusing them of assaulting her in a London hotel room back in 2018 while they were in town for a Hockey Canada gala. There is now a 30-day window for Crown lawyers to appeal yesterday's decision. And beyond the verdict, the investigation and trial put a focus on hockey culture more broadly and the meaning of consent. Adrian Gabriel has more on that.
A verdict delivered, a sports culture remains in the spotlight.
They found me lying on a floor in the bathroom, unconscious.
Kathleen LaRoche was 23 years old when she believed she was drugged and then eventually sexually assaulted in 2015 by a major junior hockey player in Quebec, who she says would go on to have a successful NHL career.
I called him. They found me unconscious. What happened? He said, just the only thing is I'm about to sign with the NHL. Please don't talk about it. That's what I did.
In denial for years, she suppressed the memory of what she says took place.
When Me Too wave came, my body started having anxiety symptoms, as if my body remembered, even if my head didn't want to.
As part of her personal journey and to help educate athletes, LaRoche is now working with hockey players and coaches at all levels, starting as young as 15 years old, sharing her experience and the importance of consent and self-awareness.
I want to educate people like him to protect people like me.
Author Lauren Robinson wrote Crossing the Line, that examines the pervasive culture of Canada's national sport.
In my book, I have 2 guys who were convicted, actually, Jarrett Reed and Andrew Power, as they were convicted as junior players. They're both coaching right now.
Following this week's verdicts, one-time star goalie Carter Hart had his lawyer share this message.
He is committed to sharing what he has learned with others in his personal circle and in his professional life.
We need to hear what Carter Hart believes those lessons are. We have to stop acting like this, and we have to make sure that there's not a generation after us acting like this.
For LaRoche, that's her ultimate goal.
By helping them understand themselves more, they can be more conscious about their actions.
LaRoche says she's witnessed a willingness from young athletes who are eager to change the narrative, adding that she's hopeful for the next generation. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, London, Ontario.
A third major automaker is reporting a substantial financial hit from American tariffs. The officials with Europe's biggest car maker, Volkswagen, say they lost $1.5 billion during the first half of this year. The company is behind the massive electric vehicle battery plant near St. Thomas, currently under construction. Volkswagen's operating profits for last quarter fell nearly 30% compared to a year ago. Earlier this week, General Motors said its second quarter profits fell by $1 billion, while Stellantis reported a $2.7 billion drop in the first half of 2025. And President Donald Trump now says a final trade deal between Canada and the U.S. may not happen at all, let alone by the latest deadline set, August 1st. As Abigail Beeman reports, that could make tariffs an unavoidable reality for the Canadian economy.
U.S. President Donald Trump says most trade deals will be finished by August 1st. But as for us,
we haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada. I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariffs, not really a negotiation.
Hot on the heels of senior Canadians declaring progress and encouragement after D.C. meetings.
I had a productive, cordial discussion meeting with Secretary Lutnick.
We don't have a deal with Canada. We haven't been focused on it.
It looks like we're trying to negotiate with the guy at the reception desk. Commerce Secretary Lutnick's not going to make decisions.
Ottawa has certainly been focused on Washington.
I hope the Prime Minister and the government will start doing is being a little bit more forceful in putting out exactly what we're going to do in terms of preparing workers who are going to be affected.
The hit is starting to be material and financial in nature.
The Canadian Chamber of Commerce says the months of uncertainty are toxic for business.
It's not going to go away on August 1st, even if we have a temporary deal, because we are facing a real review of CUSMA, which is the big one.
But for now, all eyes are focused on August 1st, with no one having a clear idea of what will happen before the day the president has threatened to impose 35% tariffs on all goods not covered by CUSMA. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
It's not the weekend she envisioned for a local singer-songwriter. The musician was supposed to open for a multi-platinum band in New York State, but she's still here in London, the latest Canadian artist to deal with unprecedented visa delays. Daryl Newcomb reports.
Today was the day, and we are going to miss out.
London-based country singer-songwriter Amanda Keel should be in upstate New York opening a music festival for multi-platinum band Parmalee. But her and her band's P2 visa application to perform in the United States is stuck in a processing backlog.
We sent the applications in plenty of time. The fee was processed. We kept getting notifications that there was delays.
And it turns out Keels isn't alone. Artists right across Canada are experiencing longer wait times for those all-important P2 visas. The Canadian Office of the Federation of Musicians of the United States and Canada says recent visa delays came with no warning from American officials.
The last one being our Vermont Service Center that we deal with, they just increased their processing times last month, so it was quite a blindside for us.
What had been a 3 to 6 month processing period has recently jumped to about a year. Keels was recently told she could try expediting her application for $2,800 US, but there was no guarantee. So her latest big break turned to heartbreak.
This is the world we're living in, unfortunately, that artists are getting caught up in this red tape of politics and these delays.
A lobbying effort is underway, hoping to convince U.S. citizenship and immigration to address the backlog facing Canadian artists.
The message that is being delivered back to us is that we need examples and data from the U.S. venues which are impacted by these last-minute cancellations.
It is so unfortunate because musicians just love to play their music. And this is what is happening.
Undeterred, Keels is choosing to cowgirl up, focusing on her tour with stops in Collingwood, Thunder Bay, and Canada's East Coast. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Weekend events are back at the Covent Garden Market Square in the midst of ongoing construction. With more on the efforts to strike a balance, allowing for more festivities to return, here's Jerry Dewan.
While Island Fest signs go up at one end of Market Square, this is what's happening at the other end. Island Fest will be the second event hosted on Market Square since it partially reopened 2 weeks ago. Construction closed access to the square last September. Vendors and restaurants were still available inside the market, and while many businesses have a dedicated clientele, they also rely heavily on events in the square to draw new customers in. Covent Garden Market General Manager Amy Shackleton says they did their best to keep people coming.
Just getting the word out that we are open. We're open 6 days a week, and we're here and ready to serve.
Island Fest organizers were happy to see the reopening of the Market Square. Building on the success of last year's gathering, they've expanded their event out onto Talbot. There were concerns that weather-related construction delays might push back the Market Square reopening, forcing them to another location.
I won't lie, we've been on our tippy toes a little bit, but we made an executive decision to stay with the square. This is our home, and this is where we're going to stay. The construction noises will die down as the day progresses.
While events have returned to the square for the weekends, access during the week will continue to be limited. The work will be going on until September.
During the week, we do have the square closed just so they can finish up the work that has to be done. But every weekend we've got something booked in, so the square is open.
Shackleton recognizes the importance of the square to all businesses in the area of the market.
We play such a big role. We're the hub of the city. You know, people come down here, they look forward to these cultural events. So we know the importance of being able to showcase the diversity here in London. And so it's so important. So that's why we really made sure to make this happen, that we can make sure to have the events and festivals here.
Also returning this winter will be the Covent Garden Market skating rink. Shackleton says the total cost of the work being done is about $5 million. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
This was the scene earlier tonight at Island Fest. It's the third annual event taking over Rotary Square and part of Talbot Street. There are vendors, food, performers from as far away as Trinidad. Organizers say the festival gives people a chance to soak up Caribbean culture in the heart of the city.
In the Caribbean, we're all about community and family, so it's nice to bring that community and family here to London as well. Many moons ago, we used to have these kind of festivals, and then they kind of disappeared, so we decided it was time to bring them back, and here we are. And every year, they ask for when it's going to come back and what we're expecting, so it's great to know that people actually want to see this and come out to support.
And the 49th Home County Folk Festival is tomorrow in Victoria Park. It's returned to the heart of downtown London after a one-year hiatus. With more on how this year's event is shaping up, here's Lauren Stallone.
Iconic Canadian band Bedouin Soundclash will take to the stage, along with a number of other talented performers.
I think it's, I think a lot of people go, oh, I love Bedouin Soundclash, I've heard them on the radio. There's other people who are going to say, oh, I don't know that band. And then they're going to hear songs and go, oh, I know that song, and I know that song.
Organizers of the festival say this year will look a little different for folk lovers.
We have one stage right in the middle of the park. They're setting it up behind me right now. It is going to be a one-day festival.
In addition to live music, this year's event will feature a craft show featuring pottery, jewelry, fine art, and gourmet food. Visitors are encouraged to explore the park and enjoy the music.
We encourage everybody to BYOB, bring your own blanket, or bring a chair, because we're going to be in the grass in the center of the park.
Since 1974, the festival has been a beloved fixture of London's cultural identity, celebrating Canadian music, art, and craft in the heart of the city.
We have all sorts of new and exciting ideas, and we are looking for feedback from visitors for future years, and we're always welcome to having volunteers join us and help us to reimagine the festival in future years.
The festival kicks off at 1:30. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
When we come back, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Canada calls for more aid, while a G7 ally will recognize a Palestinian state. Details after the break. Gains in technology stocks help lift Canada's main stock index today. The TSX ended the week up 122 points. In New York, the Dow climbed 208. The Nasdaq added 50. The Canadian dollar lost 0.4 cents today. On commodity markets, gold fell almost $38 an ounce. Oil dropped 87 cents a barrel. Canadian leaders are joining a chorus of voices calling for more aid to be let into Gaza. There are increasing reports of widespread starvation blamed on Israel blocking humanitarian support, an accusation the Israelis deny. Kamil Karamali reports.
Among the rubble in Gaza City, the desperate need for even a morsel of food growing more dire each day. This father forced to bury his 2-month-old. He says it's because there's no food or formula. More than 100 international aid and human rights groups have warned of mass starvation. UN's Palestinian Refugee Agency says 1 in 5 children in Gaza City alone is malnourished. People in Gaza are neither dead nor alive. They're walking corpses.
This is a deliberate use of hunger as a weapon of war, and that is absolutely illegal.
Prime Minister Mark Carney Thursday condemning Israel's failure to prevent the rapidly deteriorating humanitarian disaster, calling it a violation of international law and calling on Israel's aid distribution to be replaced. With growing pressure, Israel's saying today it'll allow other countries to parachute aid into Gaza. Israel took control of handing out aid back in May. They said it was to prevent Hamas from stealing it and using it for profit. But since then, the UN says hundreds of starving Palestinians have been gunned down by Israeli troops at distribution sites, with Israel claiming it only fired warning shots. All of it creating even more urgency for a ceasefire. But Thursday, the U.S. pulled out of ceasefire talks with Hamas, saying they failed to act in good faith.
When you get down to those last 20 hostages, it's going to be very hard for Hamas to make a deal because they lose their shield.
France's president said he will press ahead with recognizing a Palestinian state in September. Canada's foreign affairs minister now on her way to attend a UN conference next week where she'll meet with French representatives.
I have been in touch with my French counterpart, Jean-Noël Barrot, as well, relating to this question.
French President Emmanuel Macron saying he will work to convince other partners to follow suit, something Israel has condemned. Carney maintaining Canada supports a two-state solution. Kamil Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Hello, I'm meteorologist Gary Archibald for CTV News. We are still in the midst of a line of instability along this quasi-stationary front. It's not really moving further north or south, but along the jet stream flow from west to east, we are getting clipped by some scattered showers. We saw that across extreme southwestern Ontario, the 401 corridor from Windsor, Essex towards Chatham, Kent, certainly Strathroy, our friends in anywhere within the vicinity of the great city of London could see some showers overnight into a hot, steamy, and wet weekend. I'll break down what you need to know weather-wise coming up.
Welcome back. Gary Archibald with me tonight. And Gary, we certainly hit the humidity as we get toward the end of the week. How's the rest of the weekend shaping up?
More of the same likely, Carlyle. The sea temperatures in the upper 20s, low 30s for the next few days. Still humid through the afternoons, and then add to the mix mostly cloudy conditions through the overnight into a Saturday morning where we could start things off with showers. Today, a high of 28 degrees Celsius. The low, a very warm 22, 7 degrees above seasonal for this time of the year. Scattered showers have draped themselves across the lower Great Lakes. We've been clipped by some storminess. I would say Pelee Island, Leamington, Kingsville, Amherstburg, towards our friends in Rondo Park. But Port Stanley, definitely, and Long Point, some scattered shower activity for you as well. This line of instability is really a quasi-stationary atmospheric front, really cold air and warm air buttressing against each other, not one particular air mass dominating, so it's somewhat stationary and not much movement. But the circulation with jet stream influence helps to push the mid to upper level winds from the west to the east, and that's why the Lake Erie North Shores are likely to see the heaviest amounts of rain tonight in through your Saturday. The heaviest amounts, by the way, will be right along the edge of Lake St. Clair, eastern parts of Michigan into extreme southwestern Ontario, but the 401 corridor from Windsor-Essex towards Chatham-Kent, towards the great city of London, Ontario, and a little bit further east could see some showers and or isolated thunderstorms. We're not as warm as we have been of late, but technically before dawn, early tomorrow morning, we're looking at temperatures in the mid to upper teens, perhaps low 20s. Long Point stands out at 22. Here's the breakdown. The 7-day forecast, highs and lows anticipated, and the icons giving us the predominant sky conditions and active weather conditions we expect. 30% chance of showers and or an isolated garden variety thunderstorm for Saturday in London. 27 feels like 35, so it's warm. Sunday, showers likely in the morning and more of the same. Mostly cloudy conditions Monday, Tuesday, 31, 28, and then it's fair and cooling off. Mid to low 20s Wednesday through Friday of next week. A similar looking forecast for the Midwest. Storminess, a possibility, a slight one, but still a warm and muggy day. Sunday a bit warmer, still humid through Monday, and then starting to cool off after showers Tuesday down to 25, 24, and 19 a week from now. The low being 11, imagine that. More like the beginning of fall. The cold air pattern is awaiting us next week.
Thank you, Gary. A homeowner in Cambridge says he recently became aware of his property being used in a scam. He says criminals are using photos of his house as bait, trying to get would-be renters to send first and last month's payments. Jeff Bickle reports.
My door. Brett Broman is a proud new homeowner
and moved in here on July 8th.
But not long after buying, he noticed people taking a very close look at his new home.
I just had seen on my camera that there's people walking around my yard once, and I thought that was odd, but I thought it was just a utility person.
Then on Sunday, Broman says, a very strange situation.
There was 3 guys who just showed up in my backyard.
Confused and anxious, Broman asked what they were doing.
Actually, we saw this house in the listing. Sorry?
After an awkward few minutes, the guys explained there was an ad on Facebook Marketplace listing the house for rent.
It's very nerve-wracking, knowing that there's an ad up for your house and people could at any time just be trespassing on your yard.
Broman says because the house was recently for sale, someone has taken the pictures from the listing and posted it as a rental. At well below market price, Broman says he's worried someone might fall for the scam.
So people are probably going to be thinking, this is such a good deal.
Broman has reported the issue to police, who say until money changes hands, there's little they can do. He says his attempts to contact Facebook and get the ad removed have not been successful.
Their bots just keep on saying it doesn't go against their standards, and then the ad's still up. So it's been since Sunday, and now today's Friday.
Well, Broman says he is hopeful to avoid any more awkward encounters.
I'm wondering, are people going to just start peeking in my windows while I'm sitting there watching TV or cooking dinner?
He wants people to be aware of the signs of a scam.
Make sure that you actually see the inside of the house, and whoever you're talking to has a key and can go inside and can show you around, not just tell you to walk around outside.
As of this afternoon, the ad remains on Facebook. Broman is hopeful it will come down so he can enjoy his new home in peace. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Cambridge.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, a piece of history has been handed over to the Stratford Perth Museum. The historic ammunition pouch was discovered in a home 8 decades ago, held on to as a keepsake for generations. But as Ashley Bacon reports, the artifact actually dates back much further.
That was a long time ago, and I've kept it ever since.
The year was 1945. A then 15-year-old rising track star, Gordon Wilder, and his grandfather began to renovate their home on Coburg Street in Stratford. When an interior wall came down, a treasure was unearthed.
Out pops this ammunition pouch, and it was buried in sawdust, which was insulation in those days. And so we dug it out. He looked at it and he handed it to me. He said, "Here, you can have it."
For the last 8 decades, this ammunition belt has been carefully kept at the Wilder home.
Mom and Dad decorated their house so lovely, and it was just part of it, and I never really thought much of it.
Now 95 years old, Gordon believes it's time to pass it on.
I didn't want money for it. I just wanted to give it and verify history, and that's hopefully what's happened here in this museum.
Is a cartridge holder or an ammo pouch that contained shot and bolt, and our collections manager has dated it back to not only the War of 1812, but earlier to the 1700s.
The belt believed to be used in the War of 1812 and with the local militia before somehow ending up in a wall at 146 Coburg.
What we can determine is that whoever had this at the house that at that time in 1945 was 146 Coburg Street, that they probably brought it here.
Bringing with it a lifetime of memories and history to pass along.
I'm happy about it. I can sleep better now at night.
It's great because we already have an exhibit about this history, and we'll be able to tell its story.
After being a treasured family heirloom for the last 80 years, it'll be another few weeks before the public can get to view it on display here at the Stratford Perth Museum. Ashley Bacon, CTV News, Stratford.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a great weekend.